So now about the topic. Topic, of course, is hatke, and for that topic, speaker's choice is excellent. Nirja is definitely a hatke wala person, and you give her any hatke wala topic, she will do wonders. And you give any topic to Dr. Ambuja, she will also go out with all the scientific evidence and everything. Ambuja has been vice president with me, and so I'm close to Ambuja also, as well as far as working goes. So I will not waste much time. Let's just start with the session. Thank you very much for having me here, Jyotika. I really will enjoy.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, Neela ma'am, for your nice words. And really, you are appreciating others, and you are really a person who needs a lot appreciation. And Jyotika ma'am,
means whosoever works is
Yes, ma'am. And this is really good that Nirja ma'am has done a lot of work, and the Digital Education Committee, really, so many people are getting benefited by this Digital Education Committee. Yes, ma'am. Now moving ahead, and without further delay, now I would like to introduce and invite none other than Dr. Nirja Chawla ma'am, who is really a glamorous lady, and she's having good enthusiasm. And madam is my Facebook friend also, and I used to see her with her dog also, so many pictures, etc. And Dr. Nirja Chawla ma'am is a gold medalist from Delhi, and she has done diploma in endoscopic surgery from USA, and she has got several distinctions and university first prize. She was former consultant department of Gynae PGI Chandigarh. She is vice president Foxy Northern Region, founder chairperson Digital Education Committee IMS, patron and founder president Menopause Society Region of Chandigarh, Reviewer Journal of Midlife Health, ex-president and founder convener Chandigarh Gynae Society, founder life member of Indian Society of Minimal Access and Gynae Endoscopic Urogynae Surgery, Director Gynae Infertility Minimalist Surgery Endoscopic Center Sector 44 Chandigarh. She is passionate for and pioneer of endoscopic surgery in this region, and she is having interest in gynae endocrinology, infertility, and menopause. Obviously, over to you, Nirja ma'am, for your presentation on what is antioxidants. Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, please unmute yourself.
Thank you, Jyotika, for inviting me to this forum, and thank you to all the people present, like Jyotika said, on the stage, all the faculty and all the participants who are currently viewing it and who will view it later. So without a further ado, let me just share my screen, and what we, all of us together, are going to explore.
Nirja, make it full. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I was trying to do that. It's a little slow. So what we are going to explore and to understand is what are antioxidants. So that is what we are going to do today. But to understand what are antioxidants, we must know what are oxidants, what is their role in disease causation, what is oxidative stress caused by the oxidants, what are reactive oxygen species, which are the oxidants, what is a reduction oxidation reaction, what is oxidation, what is a reduction. Essentially, we are going to be talking about electron transfers. So it's all about electron transfer. So anions are negatively charged non-metals. They are negatively charged because they have gained one or more electron. So cations are positively charged metals. They have lost the electron, one or more. Oxygen is neither an anion nor a cation because it has no charge. So reduction, we understand, is the gain of the electron, whether one or more, and oxidation means losing the electron. All these reactions where this is happening are called redox reactions. Now, this is part of the entire life. All of life, we have these processes of redox reactions. But as an example, let's look at cellular respiration. So we have glucose. which is oxidized, it loses an electron to become carbon dioxide, and oxygen gets reduced. That means it gains the electron to become water. So here, oxygen is the oxidizing agent, and oxygen is a very powerful oxidant. So oxygen is reduced, which means that it accepts an electron. This part is very essential for aerobic life and is required for energy production during respiration. So then redox biology refers to the study of biochemical processes
unmute karo.
So in that involves oxidation and reduction, and all aspects of life are influenced or meditated by redox reactions. So in a normal healthy system, there will be neither an abundance nor a shortage of the oxidants or the reductants. They will be balanced in homeostasis. But when the oxidants become too much, then there is oxidative stress and there is disease progression. So oxidative stress, it is a specific biochemical condition or status where the oxidant molecules, they exceed the reductants. And because of this, it drives aberrant or disruptive redox signaling and or causes molecular damage. So the oxidants are the source of the free radicals, and the antioxidants are actually reductants. They reduce. So reactive oxygen species, which are the oxidants, they are a chemical species. They can be atoms, molecules, or ions. Essentially, they have an unpaired one or more electron in the external orbitals. Because of this, they're very unstable and they're very reactive. So what they do is they steal the electrons from nearby substances. Therefore, they are oxidants. And the electron loss that occurs, the losers have changes in their structure and function. Now, historically speaking, whenever we have had excess of reactive oxygen species, we are talking of oxidative stress, cell damage, and chronic diseases. But it's only very recently means a decade or so, where we have realized that reactive oxygen species are extremely important and essential for health as molecular signals. They activate the beneficial stress responses. This is known as redox signaling, and this is an adaptive response. So briefly, we can say or look at it like this. Controlled levels of oxidative stress are fundamental to many cell signaling processes and is part of a normal physiology. But when the oxidants are not neutralized by the biochemical defenses in the body, then it will result in oxidative stress. So as we can see, the reactive oxygen species have a dual role. The family of reactive oxygen species, they have two kinds, the radical, which is one electron ones, and the non-radical, which are electrons. The radical ones are sometimes erroneously called free radicals. So now we come to the reactive oxygen species. Most of these are byproducts of aerobic respiration. Now the main ones, the radicals are the superoxide, the hydrogen peroxide, and the hydroxyl radical. Now the superoxide is actually caused when there is a leak of a single electron from oxygen before it gets reduced to water. It is a weak antioxidant, and mostly it functions in picomolecular levels. If this level increases, it will cause oxidative stress. The hydrogen peroxide is produced from the superoxide. This is the most essential agent or the signal for redox signaling. Now the hydroxyl radical is actually generated from the hydrogen peroxide. It is the most reactive and strong oxidant. It is not easily scavenged by the body, and it causes indiscriminate damage to the lipids, to the carbohydrates, to the proteins, and the genes, causing genomic instability. Similarly, the nitrogen dioxide acts in a similar indiscriminate damaging manner. Nitric oxide reacts with the superoxide to form peroxynitrite, which forms the protonated form, which is a very strong oxidant. Then there is the hypohalous acids, where the X can be chlorus, it can be iodine, or it can be bromous. The family of reactive oxygen species also includes reactive nitrogen, sulfur, selenium, and halogen. Then we have ozone, or O3, which is a moderately reactive atmospheric oxidant and air pollutant. So we can see that the reactive oxygen species can be induced by exogenous means and maybe endogenous. So here we have a lovely table. It's a good one to take screenshot of this particular one. So the reactive oxygen species are produced by the exposome. The exposome is the environmental and occupational sources which can cause the production of the reactive oxygen species. Now, these may include very high level of exercise, the different types of nutrition and different types of irradiations, high blood sugars, high PUFA, smoking alcohol, air pollution, and excess of certain iron molecule, certain iron or manganese, copper, or zinc. Now, the superoxide and the hydrogen peroxide, they are actually then produced by various enzymatic and non-enzymatic processes, which may be the exposome, or from endogenous sources, which may be from the cytosol. The cytosol is the cytoplasmic part of the cell where the organelles are actually lying. So from the cytosol, this part is important as we will come to later. They are produced from the cytosol as well as the organelles, endoplasmic reticulum, mitochondria, aerobic respiration, and by NADPH, by the action of NADPH oxidases called NOXes, as well as peroxisomes. The superoxide and the hydrogen peroxide, they react with cluster proteins of iron and sulfur and other cysteine modifications of proteins to cause a chain of redox signaling. The downstream effect of this is physiological signaling and various parts of the physiology, a normal process, immunity, thermogenesis, proliferation, development, steroidogenesis, aging, and cognition. Now, alternately, this hydrogen peroxide, when it becomes in excess, it will react with certain iron molecules. This is known as the Fenton reaction, and it forms the hydroxyl. The hydroxyl radical causes extreme damage to the lipids, proteins, carbohydrates, DNA, and it causes oxidative stress, aberrant signaling, dysfunction, disease, and pathology. Now this is a simpler form of the previous exercise. Why have I just magnified this here? Here you can see that hydrogen peroxide is the main signaling agent. Now here it can be converted to water by certain cellular antioxidant enzymes and proteins. These enzymes, which are preventing an abundance of hydrogen peroxide and converting it into innocuous water, they are actually cellular oxidants. In addition to these, there are many other cellular and antioxidants like the superoxide dismutases 1 and 2, which will 1 and 2 depends upon where they are acting in the cytosol or the organelles. And then you have NOXes, which is This is a reduced form, NADPH, which gives rise to myriad of antioxidants. And glutathione is actually the most abundant antioxidant which is present in the cells. So let's have look at this, how the reactive oxygen species and the regulation of normal and cancer cell proliferation. So in the normal physiology, the hydrogen peroxide is driving the signaling for growth, survival, proliferation, as well as metabolism and angiogenesis. Now, this is the normal state. Now, when there is a heightened state, or when there is cancer cells, or there are aberrant genes, the oncogene parts get activated by different reasons. So these oncogenes get activated, the tumor suppressor genes get lower, and cancer begins to develop. The increased oxidative metabolism of the cancer cells and the hypoxia, which is created by these rapidly expanding cancer cells, causes the tumors to increase. At the same time, if you look at this line, the ROS levels are also continuously increasing. Now, at a particular point, the ROS levels come into the red zone. Now, remember that when the ROS levels are at a particular high, they cause oxidative stress. So at this time, the ROS is causing oxidative stress-induced cell death of the cancer cells themselves. So the cancer cells, what they do is they show increased levels of these scavengers or the intracellular antioxidants. So cancer is actually an elevated redox state, and it tries to maintain that cancer state without getting oxidative stress for the cancer cells. And here is ROS and the regulation of inflammation. Now, normally, the normal activity will cause an appropriate inflammatory response. Now, sometimes some patterns, which may be microorganism derived or pathogen associated, they can, or cell damage caused, they will cause increase of these surveillance receptors. And this causes increased production from mitochondria, or by NOx, and H2O2 is produced. And this drives and increases the cytokines to produce an appropriate inflammatory response. So at this moment of time, the ROS, the H2O2 has called homeostasis. If this response is not appropriate and it is less, the patient will be in immunosuppression. And if this response, the ROS levels are too high, then the patient will develop autoimmune diseases. The ROS and aging. Now, moderate levels of ROS are important for self-renewal and for differentiation of these cells. But when the ROS decreases, the stem cells and the cells, other cells, are unable to renew themselves. When the ROS increases tremendously, it causes stem cell exhaustion, and this causes premature aging. Now, what we need to understand is that some basic amount of ROS levels are not detrimental to the lifespan. So as the lifespan increases, some amount of ROS also increases. This slight increase helps to counter the aging. But when the ROS cross over the basal level, then there is inflammation, cancer, cell death, age-related chronic diseases, CVD, stroke, neurodegeneration, cancer, diabetes, and an accelerated aging phenotype. So what defenses do we have against an increased level of ROS? The first level of defense is prevention. So many of the times we do not want the ROS to be formed. And if they are formed, we don't want them to be released. And if they are released, we want to actually mop them up. So there are ingenious designs where sometimes they are not released and they are put in a cage, or they're diverted to less harmful products. The second level of defense is interception by anti-oxidation. And if there is some cells which have still left some damaged bases despite prevention and interception, they are restituted and replenished. The defenses against ROS changes according to different needs. Which method is used in the body remains to be different. But there is an interplay between the reactive oxygen species, which are the oxidants, and the antioxidants, and the cofactors of the antioxidants, which ensure their optimal action. So now what exactly are antioxidants? Now we know that the reactive oxygen species have an unpaired electron. The antioxidants donate that electron to the electron-hungry ROS oxidants without becoming electron scavenging substances themselves. And any substance, when present in low concentrations, which is important, that delays or inhibits oxidation of that substrate, the oxidizable substrate, is an antioxidant. As many oxidants are there, as many are there antioxidants. The antioxidants may be enzymatic, which means they are endogenously produced, or they may be non-enzymatic, which are constituents of fruits and vegetables. So here you have the classification of the enzymatic and non-enzymatic antioxidants. Look at this huge list of antioxidants which are derived from fruits and vegetables. This list is not complete. For example, you have N-acetylcholine, which gives rise to glutathione, which is the most abundant intracellular antioxidant, and IV-albumin. Both of these are used in liver disorders. Then there is melatonin, which is produced by the pineal gland, which is very important for sleep and repair. Then you have synthetic antioxidants produced from chemical processes in the lab, mainly used for stabilizing vegetable oils. And you have semi-synthetic antioxidants too. Then cofactors are those that will bind to the catalytic site of the antioxidant enzyme, making it more active. For example, copper and zinc are part of some constituents of the bone matrix. Zinc and manganese, they are cofactors of the superoxide dismutase enzymes. Iron drives oxidative stress. It prevents oxidative stress, but it can be a pro-oxidant also. Selenium, thiamine, riboflavin, the vitamin B, they have a lot of role in neurodegeneration and cardiovascular diseases. Nicotinamide is important for energy production in those redox reactions that produce energy or ATP, and it is used as anti-aging. Then you have coenzyme Q10 and carnitine. Both of them are very intimately related to the mitochondrial membrane, and mitochondria are the powerhouses or the energy powerhouses. So anything that deals with the mitochondria will produce a lot of energy, will drive away fatigue, and can also be used as anti-aging. So the sources of the antioxidants, of course, diet is crucial. Then you have calorie restriction, which is known to cause increase of antioxidants. Regular physical activity also increases the endogenous antioxidants. Abstaining from smoking and alcohol. Dietary components are very, very important. And this is just a brief list of the various dietary components, which you can have a look at: brightly colored fruits and vegetables. And among the flavonoids, I do want to mention about cocoa, because cocoa and coffees, they are the main source of antioxidants in American style of diets, because they do not source their antioxidant from fruits and vegetables. So this is very important in the American diet. Then you have the black grapes or the red grapes and the wines, the red wine made out of these grapes. Then you have other fruits and cherries and broccoli. Ferulic acid, the most important source of this is rice. N-acetylcholine, important sources are non-veg, but the veg sources are broccoli, onions, legumes. Then you have alpha-lipoic acid, flax seeds, and glutathione in all sulfur-rich foods, which when you eat, you have that little taste in your mouth. So we understand now that the reactive oxygen species, I've come to my final slide. The reactive oxygen species are very important in low levels for stem cell renewal, proliferation, differentiation, for healthy immune responses and longevity. But when they are in excess, then they cause stem exhaustion, cancer formation, autoimmunity, and accelerated aging. So the reactive oxygen species, they have a dual role to play. And because of this dual role, we understand that antioxidants also have a dual role. They can be used to prevent the ROS pathology, as in here, but they may block adaptive responses induced by low levels of the ROS, as in here. So there are certain risks to the uses of antioxidants. Some of them may even be pro-oxidant, for example, DHLA, beta carotene, some flavonoids. Then there is a controversy on, do you need supplements and how much of it? And what is the therapeutic role of antioxidants in health and disease prevention? Now, these questions are not the purview of this presentation, because the brief that we are both, all of us, looking at together is only to answer this question: what are antioxidants? Thank you all for a very patient hearing.
Thank you so much, Nirja ma'am. No words. Really, really excellent, excellent, excellent. You have really nicely explained what is reactive oxygen species. I have come to know that one electron is stealed, superoxide is formed. 2 electrons stealing, H2O2 is formed. 3 electrons stolen, then hydroxyl is formed. Very nicely elaboration of reactive oxygen species and what is their role in the inflammation, cancer, aging, etc. and so on, so many things. Because our genomes are getting affected by the epigenetics, and that epigenetics is our environment, and our environment nowadays is full of reactive oxygen species. And you have really nicely explained that up to some extent basal levels ROS is needed for the body. When it is crossing the basal levels, then it is really harmful for the body, and for that we are in need of antioxidants. And endogenous as well as exogenous antioxidants play a crucial role for reactive oxygen species. And really wonderful. No words, ma'am. Really no words. You have really nice. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
That was great, Nirja. Absolutely great. And it looked as if we had gone back to our biochemistry class in MBBS. So you must have taken some time understanding all that, but you put it across so very simply and nicely. Thank you so much.